Anytime you want to walk up to the get ready.
Get ready, get set. School is live.
Ask questions, learn more, build your life. Hey.
Connect now, show up your future's bright.
Skill up, stand out, this is your time.
Skill up, skill up.
We are learning, live again.
Skill up, bring your question.
Let's begin,
Let's begin.
let's begin.
Ask, learn, grow, build your questions. Let's begin. Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin. Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Get ready, get set. School is live.
Ask questions, learn more, build your life.
Connect now, show up your future's bright.
Skill up, stand out, this is your time.
Skill up,
Skill up,
skill up,
skill up.
skill up, skill up. Bring your question.
Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Ask, learn, bring your questions. Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Ask, learn,
Skill up, skill up, skill up, skill up. Bring your questions. Let's begin. Ask, learn, grow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's edition of our school session for business management. Of course, I want to welcome everyone, wherever you are joining us from different parts of Nigeria. I want to welcome everyone. So a big warm welcome to everyone for tuning in today and joining us from different parts of Nigeria, from Lagos to Port Harcourt to Jos, to the Center of Unity in Abuja. We are so glad to have you all in the room, no matter the states you are joining us from Oyo, from Enugu, from Kano, from Kaduna. We are happy to have you join us this afternoon for our school session, the Scale Up and Life Expert section for the month of July 2026. So before we jump into today's session, let me test the temperature of the room. Drop an emoji in the chat that represents your favorite energy right now. So let me see your emoji that shows your favorite emoji, your favorite energy now, and let us know the state you are joining us from. Please let me see your emoji and let me see the states you are joining us from. My name is Taiwo Ishola. I'm the training coordinator for the Gateway program. I'm talking to you from Lagos, Nigeria, precisely from Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria. So please drop your favorite emoji and drop where you are joining us from for today's session. Let's get to work for the School Scale Up and Life Expert session for the business management course of the Gateway program. A warm welcome to everyone. I'm waiting for your emoji. I'm waiting for your state where you are joining us from. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, the Bliss, I can see your favorite emoji. That means you are excited. Ruth Uzuchuku, I can see your favorite emoji. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Catherine from Delta State, UI UX designer. Thank you very much. Data marketing from Ogun State, the Bliss. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. Oreoluwa Salami from Lagos. Oh, my fellow Lagosian, nice connecting with you. Alfred Bognet from Port Harcourt, nice joining you. So please send a reminder to your friends. Learn with Oluwatosin from Abeokuta. I'm glad to have you on this particular session. As we all know, the SKULE session is the monthly program where learners have the opportunity to meet to meet experts in their particular industry. For this month, we are having experts from business management who are going to join us and going to share insights. So if you have questions about the module or anything, this is the session where we tackle that, and we also share insight. And I have a surprise package for you this afternoon session, but I won't tell you yet. Just watch out from a few minutes for the session. So thank you for joining us. Abdubaki from Kano State, my brother from the north. Thank you very much. How is Kano State today? Okay. So let's dive deep into this session. So now, many of us, I want to assume that we are all on the business management module, and when we are done with this, we are moving on to the financial management module. So the next thing that is going to now come up is what is next? That is going to be the next thing. After I am done with business management, the next thing you are going to go on to is the financial management. And when you are done with financial management, you may want to ask yourself, what is next? So I'm going to take a brief minute to share some insights and to further remind you some important details about the Gateway program, about your pathway, and about the module you are currently on. So the Gateway program is designed to be self-paced, which means that everyone is going to take the courses on their own. However, don't forget, you have just 3 months to complete your module. So if you're on the call and you have spent up to 2 months, you have 1 month left to complete your module and ensure that you get yourself ready. And someone is asking me, after I'm done with my financial management, what is next? You are going to move to the next phase of the program, which is where the real work actually starts. So the Gateway program supports learners beyond training to give placement assistance, which means that it's not just about, oh, I'm done with my business management course and you go and relax. No. And it's not just a training program, and that is what makes Gateway program very unique. I can say it that Gateway program is different from every program there because we don't just train you and say bye-bye. No. When we train you, we also support you in gig placement. So the earlier you finish, the faster and the quicker you are going to get onboarded and receive support for gig placement. So the program works with local and international gig platform. Two, number one, we support participant onboarding. So once you are done with the growth pathway, you will get an email from us where we are going to support you for onboarding on gig platform. The second thing, we are going to help to improve access to gig platform. Many gig platforms you don't even know about. We're going to give you access to such platforms. And lastly, we are going to connect you to paid digital opportunities. So the training is designed to move beyond learning into real earning opportunities. So how many of you are excited about what the Gateway program offers you? Let me see your emoji to show your excitement about this and your excitement to finish up the program and move to the next phase of the program. We also give you access to curated gig opportunities. We give you access to job and freelance leads. We give you access to opportunities that align with your skill, and we give you pathways into the digital economy. So as you are on this program, thank you, Faith Ajibola, for Unilive. As you are on this program, you are not just taking your training. I want to encourage you to begin to also put together your portfolio, put together your CV, put together everything that is going to get you ready for gig placement opportunities. So this is the first information I have for you on the session this afternoon. How many of you are excited about this? Also, it's not just that, you also gain access to enhanced financial services. Someone is asking and say, please, what is the meaning of enhanced financial services? We understand that some of you may not have some things that may even improve your opportunity to even access the gig job. So we are going to give you access to cross-border payment solutions, access to savings products, access to micro insurance options, access to pension solutions. So we also understand, some of you may say, oh, but I don't have a laptop. How do I start? We have opportunities for that. Now people will say, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this. We are going to also support you to access a lot of opportunities financially now. So we have cross-border payment, we have micro insurance options for you, we have even pensions that is designed for you as a gig worker. So it's not just about being on your own, we also support you in gig placement opportunities. Okay, so all these are the things we are offering you on the Gateway program. So let's go briefly to the next session on on the program, where we are going to interview our guest participants. So we have some guest participants on the call this afternoon. Do you know what? The guest participants are students like you, they are learners like you who have actually done wonderfully well. And we are going to have them in the studio this afternoon where they are going to share their experience with all of us regarding how they were able to navigate the module. So we are going to have two participants from different parts of Nigeria who will be joining us and be sharing their experience with us and letting us know how they were able to navigate their training program, business management on the Gateway program. So welcome, Michael. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Michael. Can you hear me, please, Michael?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Can you please introduce yourself, your name, where you joining us from, and your skill track?
Okay, my name is Oju Michael, and I'm from Lagos. I'm joining you from Lagos State here, and
Okay.
my skill basically video editing and graphics design.
Okay, so Michael is a video editor and a graphic designer. Thank you, Michael. So, Michael, if I may ask you, please, what has your experience been with the course, particularly the business management? What has your experience been?
My experience basically, I would say, that has been very informative, and it gave me more better understanding on how business is, and also how freelance operates.
Okay, no problem. So it has helped you to understand business management from the
Yes,
perspective of a freelancer. Okay, so thank you
yes.
for that, Michael. So let's go to Temitope. So Temitope, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Please, can you speak louder? You are talking to all of us across different part of Nigeria.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon, everybody.
Okay, good afternoon. So, Temitope, can you please tell us what is your skill area, like maybe graphic design, UI, UX? What is your skill area, and what motivated you to particularly join the Gateway program? What's your motivation?
Okay, so currently I'm a full stack developer, and I would like to say what actually motivated me to join the program is because I feel like as a developer, you don't have to like work. You have to work in a more how do I put it, like in a more unprofessional ways because before joining the program, I have a way of working before, and after joining the program, like there is so much changes for me. How you like onboard clients, you manage your clients, how you speak with them, how you reach out to them, and I mean how you are able to like value yourself, because value is beyond just like putting a random price. The value of the work you are putting in for them. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. You said you are a developer, and one of the things that motivated you is to know clients onboarding and also how to put value on what you do. Thank you very much for that insight, Temitope. So I want to ask you now, I'm back to you, Michael. What are the key lessons? Just tell us four key lessons
Okay.
or four key insights that you have gained so far from the program. Over first of all, I'll ask Michael, then I'll ask him Tokwe to share with us four key lessons and four key insights you have gained so far from the program.
Okay. Based on the program, actually, the lessons I gained from this course is that we're able to like communicate, know how to communicate with our clients. We know how to communicate with our clients professionally, and also
Okay.
we know how to handle how gigs are being handled. So basically, for me, I had this experience, but when I went through this course, it gave me an insight, and what I learned from it is that I was able to know how to handle it,
Oh,
and good relationship with, and how to also um, manage projects.
okay. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Client engagement, project management, and all the others. So thank you for the insight too that you have gained from the business management module. So Temitope, over to you. What are the insights as a developer for the business management module? What are the things that you think you have learned that is going to help you as a freelancer developer?
Okay, so I would just say like scope creep. You know, when you are working with a client and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, help us to add this, help us to add that. Before, like I'll just be like, oh, it's just the normal stuff. Okay, I can do it for you. So now, when the client said, okay, oh, help us to do this, I'll just like, okay, let's refer back to our normal like the service agreement and the, like
Wow.
the payment thing. So at least that is a really major milestone for me, because at times when clients reach out and I'm like, oh, I'm just supposed to just it's just a small thing, just supposed to add this. It's just like, oh, okay, let's do it. And before you know it, it's piling up, piling up, piling up. So it's actually a great milestone for me, like scope or the creep scope. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thanks. So, Michael, maybe my final question for you now. What are the thoughts you have
Okay.
for participants? Because one of the things that has distinguished both of you is the speed by which you were able to complete your program, your business management module. We were actually impressed with that. So, as a participant with excellent performance on the business management module, what advice, what counsel do you have for other participants that you feel like may help them to make the best use of this opportunity that has worked for you? Maybe how you study, how
Okay.
you read, that is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Basically, I make sure I try as much as possible to like cover up everything I'm supposed I use my 9 for the so that I can be able to finish up my course because I set a target. I set a target that I must finish this course. So I, so I was very determined that if I'm able, like from now to weeks, I should be able to finish it. Although the course, the motives are both, but I have to be focused and self-determined so that I will not lose the track because I once had similar opportunities like this, but I lose it. So this time around, I said, no, I'm not going to lose it. So I have to be consistent in everything I do on this thing. So either if I'm busy in the daytime, I use my 9 hours to focus and make sure I'm able to like finish up what I'm supposed to do. Then also, I don't just do them. What I do is that I do the course and I also study them because they are not just what to read. They help us in our life, in our daily life. as a lead,
Yeah.
basically. So it is not just a reading something for us to like be able to like answer, but it's something that it must be applicable to even to our businesses. So while I study, I also make sure that I understand the whole knowledge about everything. So that's how I was able to.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you. So I will ask Tope that question, but before I ask him Tope, I think there is two things that Michael said. Number one, have a target. He said, and for all of us on this program, when you are doing this kind of program, and I think he said something that he has been in previous program in the past that he didn't complete. So he said, have a target. Okay, this weekend I will complete module one. Next weekend I will do module two. Then when he said have a target, number two, set time aside. You are not going to go very far on the gateway program if you are just going to do it anytime. You can say, okay, every day, he said it too. He said every day, okay, by night, I will do 1 hour. And if it's not the day is free, maybe on Saturday, okay, this Saturday, I'm going to schedule 2 hours. And that is one reason that he was able to perform wonderfully well on the business management module. And lastly, he said focus. If you're not determined, you're going to have it tough on the program. Now, he said something that's very important and it's funny because he said the module is very bulky. That is true. It is very bulky. So if you don't commit time to it, you may not be able to finish it. And let me say this, I said it before. You have just 3 months on the growth pathway. After 3 months, I'm not able to say what is next for you. So you don't have to wait the last minute. He has given you the formula. Set a target, set time aside for it, and be determined and be focused to complete it. And from my own perspective, I will say that a lot of opportunities await you when you finish. So let that inspire you. So last word from me,
Mm.
okay? What do you have to say to the participants, both on the business management track and the other part, based on your own experience? I can see that you are in the office, Temitope, so you are probably
Yes,
a
yes.
9 to 5 worker like me. So how were you able to navigate? How are you able to navigate the training program to perform wonderfully well? Despite okay, you're a developer, and I know that your schedule, even when you go home in the night, you are still with laptop at 2 a.m. coding and doing all those stuff. So how were you able to navigate and perform wonderfully well on the business management track? Just share some insight that can help other people too.
Okay, so I feel like Mr. Michael already said the major step, like you just have to like have a clear target. So for me as well, like I put it in the morning, like okay, 9 to 11. Okay, I just want to study the UI UX 9 to 11. So within that time, my phone is not with me. Whatever office work is not, I'm not doing whatever office work. So by then I will focus and based on what he said, like the modules. At times, if you look at the modules, feel like, oh boy, can I finish? But like if you actually focus on consistency, like you actually finish everything. Because like I was once like I stopped at some point, but then I have to like realize that okay, this thing is not as if like I'm taking my full day. Let me just have a clear target for it, and it's actually help. So my piece of advice for the participants is that just try to have a clear target, probably okay in the afternoon. So as in the afternoon, okay, in the night I have like 30 minutes in the night. I mean, even if you spend 30 minutes, it's still worth of it. At least you move from A to B and you try to understand all the portfolio tasks given to you. You don't just try to like, okay, let me just sort and submit. Try to implement it to your daily whatever you are doing. Probably you are a graphics designer, you are a video editor. Try to implement it because end of the day, it will actually help and actually like strengthen your like. Okay, let me just say to help and enlarge your bandwidth. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for similar advice that you have given that you just commit, set time aside and focus. So thank you very much. So before I let both of you go, is there any final word you want to say? Any final things you want to share with your colleagues? Just final words. Anyone? Michael, any final word?
Oh, okay. All I just want to say basically is that we are all together. We are the same, but just make sure you create time, as Mr. Temitope said. You just try as much as possible to create your time, sacrifice the time because the time you invest now will profit you in the future. So when you invest your time right now on this, I bet you would actually gain more, like our like Mr. Taiwo has said already. So if you invest your time right now on this, there is no time wasted. So invest your time right now, you will get what you're supposed to get in the future. So the knowledge is now to get, not later. So that's what I have to say basically. Thank you very much.
Thank the knowledge is now to get now, not later. Thank you for that word on marble. We are going to frame it for participants for Michael Oji. Thank you very much. Graphic designer and video editor. Thank you.
Editor.
So, the final word for everyone on the Gateway program.
Yeah, I would just say like just focus. If you focus and like you manage your time wisely, I mean like it's totally worth it. Like it's totally worth it. Just try to like manage your time, even if it's like just try to create a to do like every day so that you can just like balance the everything. You balance your life, then you like you have the time to study. If you can do it, I'm telling you like you end of the day like you think yourself like it's a great worth.
Okay, thank you. Work life, just balance. And I think I love that too. There is time for 9 to 5, like Temitope and Michael, and there is time to also learn and gain more skills. So thank you, Temitope. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time and the joining us. I know what it means to you. Thank you so much. Michael, I really appreciate you also for accepting to join us. I appreciate the time you spare from your work. Thank you, both of you. We are grateful. So,
Thank
on
you,
behalf
sir.
of Gateway Program and all the participants, we say thank you, Temitope and Michael Oji. So, have a nice time at work. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. All right, sir. All right.
Okay, so we have heard from the participants on the Gateway program, Michael Oji, a graphic designer and video producer, and also from Temitope, who is a developer, and share their thoughts on the program. So you are not alone. Then it's an ecosystem of thousands of other young Nigerians, skilled Nigerians like you who are learning with you every day. So this is your time, as you've had them talk, this is your time to take this training serious because of the opportunities that actually await you at the other side of the training program, which I've listed for you before. So we are going to move to the next session where we are going to have our facilitators and experts and trainers who will be joining us to share their insight with us today. So as they are joining us, please, if you have any question, any clarifications, these are experienced and versatile people, versatile skilled workers, versatile freelancers with years of experience. So get ready your questions that you have. So just be on standby as we invite Babawale and Omadara from Jutiva to join us this afternoon to share some insights with us on the school session. So please, can you please show your favorite emoji and drums rolling to welcome Omadara and Babawale from Jutiva. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Omadara and Babawale, thank you. So welcome to this session. And
My
I'll hand
pleasure.
over now to you to take us further on this aspect of the school session this afternoon. So thank you. Over to you, Omadara. Okay, so while they are trying to join us, please let's not forget that if you have any question related to the training or to the Gateway program, please drop your question on the chat box and we are going to respond to you now. Drop your questions on the chat box and we are going to respond to you now. So while we wait for them to join us, I want to share. Okay, okay, so thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Can you hear me? Okay, so over to you, Yutiva. Thank you.
All right. Good, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I trust you are doing great today. Firstly, I want to welcome everybody for coming on call today. Today we are just just like what we did the last time, we just want to look at a typical example of how things is going to be in a practical world. I understand the fact that, okay, let me please share my screen. I understand the fact that quite a lot of times people tend to uh, go through some classes, they tend to read through some classes. However, they cannot really place the practical example of how the class is supposed to be. Please, can you hear me, please? Am I audible?
Yes, you
I
are.
want to.
Yes, you are.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So, quite a lot of times we go through the situation whereby you join a class, you are excited about the class, you attended all the live sessions, if you attended all, you viewed through all the recordings, and at the end of the day, you are still trying to place how you can effectively practicalize what you have learned. You are trying to connect it with a particular profession. You are trying to connect it to your own personal profession. So we try to always make sure that we bring the ideology of students to the practical aspect of using what they have learned in that business management. So we are going to look at it in a way whereby um, give you a particular scenario and then using that scenario to explain all the six modules you have learned. So we've learned about client and project management. We've learned about brand and reputation management. We learned about growing within the ecosystem. We learned about business fundamental and risk. We learned about innovation and market positioning. We also learned about the ethnics, discipline, and growth. So looking at all these modules, we want to see a single scenario that connects all these modules together, as well as answer questions or what are the expected questions you are expected to ask as an individual, as a professional, as a freelancer. What are the questions you should ask that will help you to fulfill the expected mandate that you want to fulfill? What are the questions you are expected to ask when you want to look at client and project management? What are the questions you are expected to ask when it comes to brand and reputation management? What are the questions you are expected to answer when it comes to going within the ecosystem? That the questions you are supposed to ask when it comes to the fundamental risks, the business risks. What are the other questions you need to ask when it comes to you positioning your market? And when it now comes to ethics, rather ethics, the discipline, and how to grow the business. So, excuse me. So we created more or less like a single brief, which I'm going to ask the question first. So the first question I'm going to ask is this, using this brief. So we have a client, assuming that you are a freelancer, then a client walk up to you, it will name the client a Port Harcourt food brand. Let's say Port Food is the name of the brand. Let's say Port Food is the name of the brand. So Port Food is coming to you to ask, this is what they are asking for. They are asking for an online ordering page. At the same time, they want you to help them to launch with a launch campaign, that is, you'll be the one to launch that particular online page. And at the same time, you are the one that will help them to build a delivery system. So they are asking you to do these three things for them. However, when it comes to their budget, they ask you to say, send your best price. There is no ceiling shared, no decision, no criteria. They just say, okay, tell me your price. Just send your best price. And then when it comes to timeline, instead of them telling you, oh, this specific time is when they want this to be delivered, they are telling you that, oh, we want this project done before the opening weekend. That is, before the weekend, they are going to launch the what? The Port Food brand. And then when you now ask them, okay, what are the style guide, what are the merch, what are the things we need to put in place, getting information about the brand, and they're telling you, okay, you know what, if you need any information, go to our Instagram page, just pick every information you need to pick from there, and then we decide as we go. Now, I want to ask a question. What are the red flags you can spot from this particular situation? So, for those of us that have gone through our videos, I want to ask, what are the red flags that you can spot from this particular situation? So, I want to see your response in the chat section. What are those red flags you feel you are going to get from this particular situation? What are the red flags? Waiting for our responses. Waiting for our responses based on what you've learned thus far. What do you think are the red flags? 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 Yeah, what do you think are the red flags? I would like to see our responses. What do you think are the red flags in this particular set of scenario? Now, this is a food brand asking you that, oh, this is what they need. They need you to build a place where they can order. At the same time, they need you to what? They need you to set up a delivery system, and at the same time, they need you to what? To create their campaign. However, they are not setting a budget, they are not setting a timeline, and they are not what? They are not giving you a source to where they want to get the information. So, what are the red flags? Unrealistic deadline. Thank you very much for that response. The timeline is what is unrealistic. The deadline is unrealistic. There's no structure. It's as simple as that. There is no structure. There's no structure. I think no clear job description. Yeah, they are not even specific on what they really want you to do for them. No clear, limited information, not enough information. Thank you very much. Talking about their approach, they just ask you to what? To go to their Instagram page. Will their Instagram page really give you the necessary information? No. No discussion of campaign budgets. Thank you very much. This means that you are following. Thank you very much. So I would like to bring up my colleague, which is in the person of Babawali, to talk about the first aspect of this, which is the modern one, talking about clarity before pricing. Babawali,
All right, my check, please. Confirm you can
yeah,
hear me clearly.
I can hear you clearly.
All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are listening from. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. Why Michael and Tim Tucker were talking, I was trying to see their own context and see what they've learned so far. And trust me, you know they've practically said everything. Now, even including creating time for themselves, to read and other things, right? It's still part of what they learned, from the module. Now, I'm talking now being the first step of what we've learned on clarity, before you price. You know, you clarify before you price. There must be clarity. And as a professional, right, this is the first thing you know to do. Before you lay your hands on any project, before before you send quotation, before you be clear, let there be clear terms between the client, and yourself. There must be clear communication, because if there's no clear communication, right, that is the end of the project from the initial. So I'm going to give you some steps, and we'll just put some discussion around it, which I said, asking the right question also at this stage is very, very important. You know, because personally, I did a project one time, and because there was no clear, you know, there was no clarity as initial. I was hoping that, okay, this is relationship. Let me build relationship. Let me just do it that way. Eventually, I spent times two of what I ought to have built. So you need to be clear. What is the objective of the client? What is the goal of the client, of the business? What is the resources you want to use? What do you want? What you want to achieve? What do you want to solve? And these are the questions you need to actually ask yourself. Now, the first insight is that before you provide a quotation or start any project at all, it is very essential that you fully understand the context or the requirement of your client. Now, when when you don't meet the expectation of your client, then there's misunderstanding. And when there's misunderstanding, it can lead to project delays. It can turn to, it can lead to budget overruns. There can be dissatisfaction, from clients. So this step I'm talking about focus on when you gather the right information from your client on the project. You are defining the project boundaries. You are ensuring that the both clients, and the project team that you have a shared understanding and responsibility on what you need to deliver. Now, first and foremost is number one is confirm the business goal, and the exact date launch based on the Port Harcourt brand we're talking about. Confirm the business goal and the day you want to launch the program. Now, the first step is to understand why the client wants the project and what it needs to be completed, what it needs to solve. So a business goal will actually explain to you what the problem, explain the problem the client is trying to solve, or rather the outcome, that they hope to achieve at the end of the day. So the launch date, establishes, as you said, a realistic project timeline and a time frame. And as a vendor, right, you need to do what? You need to prioritize that time frame, prioritize your task, and get it stopped. Now, the question under it is, why does it matter? Why is confirming, the business goal and that date? Why does it matter? Number one is, it ensures that the project aligns with the client business objectives. Because if the client objective does not align with your own scope or anything, then there's a problem. In different project management and other things, there's what called project charter. At this point, you are listing everything down, the resources, the stakeholders, the team, the aim, the objectives, the goal, the materials you're going to use, the cost, the budget, everything is going to be, on a particular document called a project charter. So it also helps determine the project scope and required resources, where you know the scope of your project. What do you want to attain? I am not going past through this boundary. For example, let's say, for example, now, right? You were told that okay, to just do delivery. They didn't ask you to do payment platform, just to deliver. Have a website that can deliver for you. Can be able to, to deliver our goods. They didn't say go extra mile to go and do, payment platform. So you need to understand the scope of the project. So then also when you get this done, right, it prevents unrealistic deadlines. Because from the scope, from the objective, from the goal, from the aim and the objective of what you want to get, you already know the deadline. And please, when you are setting up deadline, don't set up deadline that you cannot meet. For example, if I'm doing a project and my deadline is 1 week, I'll give them 2 weeks. It's better you complete that work earlier than to submit that project after the deadline. It does not speak well of a professional. Then it also enables us to have an effective scheduling. And the question we want to ask here is that what problems are we solving? What do you want us, what do you want to achieve in the project? Who are our target customers? What are the specific deadlines, the events, specific deadlines, for launching the project and other things. So we need to try and understand this. Now, the other one is turn the request into a clear scope of work. We call it SW, SOW. And what this means is that you must have a written document, that clearly defines what work, will be completed during the project. It specifies your deliverables, it specifies each person's responsibility, it specifies the timeline, and also the expected outcome. I now want to ask, what are the questions we need to ask in this place? In terms of turning, the request into a clear scope of work. Prevent misunderstanding. Because when you do that, it prevents misunderstanding. You guys, you're on clear terms. There's a clear definition, you clearly define the project boundaries. I'm not going past this, boundaries. It provides a reference document throughout the project so that at the end of the day, you won't say that, I did, you did this. This is what we agreed on. No, you have a document that is guiding you. At this point, you're talking about the having project objectives, writing everything down, the deliverables. I've said the timeline, the technology you're going to use. Everything has to be documented, and each team's responsibility on the project. So the third one is when you are defining the approval owner and addition around. I once made a mistake whereby because you think that you're an expert, you don't need the client's approval. Then, as I've said, that is the beginning of the failure of of that particular person. You must have an authority that you must have someone that you get authority from. Now, for example, this is a project that you asked me to do. At interval, before you commence on any project or anything, in that project, the request for approval, sir, this and this is what we want to do. Is it fine? Can we go on? You discuss, but trust me, it must be part of your deliverables that you've approved initially. Then when it comes to revision, a lot of people or clients, they use this a lot. They'll tell you, I've paid you. Now, we need to think like a professional. We need to act like a professional. If, for example, you are asking me to come and do, a particular project, and I've done 1, 2, actually on this particular application, 1, 2, reviews on a particular module, and you're asking me to do a review again, I will tell you, Oga, this is what we've done. You have to pay me for this. This is extra. So that there won't be conflict of interest. So your feedback, must be there. So you must prevent, a conflicting feedback from multiple stakeholders. So you must have a particular person that you are reporting to as as the head of that or the team or stakeholders. Then it also helps us in speeding up decision. For example, I have a boss that work with that will tell you, when you want to get things done, get to me because I am the decision maker. So you need to meet decision maker so that it can speed up the project. Maybe you need money to do something, you need an approval, meet the decision maker. These are the ways that you can actually, based on your timeline, your time frame, you can start meet up. Now you need to control projects, cost and timeline, reduce unnecessary revision and other things. So these are what we're talking about at this particular point. Now let's talk about break deliveries in milestones, with payment points. You need to divide your project into smaller pieces. Sometimes we call it milestone. Some people call it sprints. A lot of things. Now you need to put it into milestone. So that each, with a specific deliverables and an associated payment. So if you're saying the cost of UI UX is 10,000, you put it there 10,000. The second phase, the cost of going to purchase run it on server and other things is 20,000 naira. You can put it there so that it won't turn story that touches the heart later on. So, and why does this actually matter? It makes large projects easier to manage because we've broken them into pieces. It doesn't, it's not cumbersome. You've broken it into pieces. Sometimes in a structure management or that things you call it, a work breakdown structure. Where you pieces, your plans into smaller pieces, into milestones. Then it allows clients to monitor progress. Oh, this week I've done this, I've achieved this, this, I've achieved this, and you are seeing the client is seeing your milestone. But when it's cumbersome, there's nothing you can achieve. And it's best that you set goals for each phase. Oh, I'm achieving this phase. When you achieve it, you can go and check it. Oh, yes, they've gone through, So there's a competition between the clients and others. So improve cash flow, you have to increase cash flow in terms of money and other things, reduce financial risks from both parties and all that. So these are the necessary things that we need to put ourselves into. Then I think the last one we have here is, document assumption, exclusion and sign up. Now, you must record any assumption made during your planning. Every detail, everything you have, you plan, you address must be detailed. Must be in detailed document. Now, don't say I have it in my brain. No, I was told once that the faintest pen rather is can can easily remind you can easily remember than what you have in your brain. It's there. So you must everything that you do in terms of your planning during the education of various objectives and other things. What is not included in your project. At the beginning, don't put it there. You must get a formal approval before you start the work. So assumptions sometimes, are in fact, assumptions is a very dangerous thing. Don't assume. Make sure that everything you have there is approved. So the client will provide, okay, a logo for the for the website, the content you need to do, the username, the address, the other things, the licenses, if you be available from them, client response, on business days and that. So these are what it entails. Then when you are signing off, a sign off is the client formal, approval that you have agreed, with the project scope, the timeline, the cost, the deliverables, before they begin work. So this prevents, this confirms that there's a mutual agreement between, the client and that professional. It it prevents disputes, later in the future, in the project or other things. And this serves also as a legal and professional record because there must be a legal record. I think Marcus talked about it. That I now understood now that you must have an SLA. So this documentation is an SLA for you and it's going to help you, in your day-to-day, activities. Now, when you're talking about the red flag in scenario, best price, there's no budget range or decision criteria. That becomes a problem for your long run. So your best price also now, when you are making your budget, now don't overshoot. But try to understand. Something happened to me sometimes ago. I wanted to deliver a Starlink for someone. Now, the last time I bought Starlink, in fact, I had the Starlink with me. That's when I got that Starlink was 480,000. Right? Now, when I gave that person the quotation was 530,000. Right? Now, because I had that Starlink, I had it about a year ago. Right? Now, when I wanted to sell it for another person, I sold it for 530. But trust me, the amount in the market was 730. Now, because I already had a gain of 130, right? Thereabout or thereabout. But I didn't go with the market price. So you should make sure that before you do something, try and verify from the market to show the exact price and give him the best price. Don't overshoot. Opening weekends, pressure a deadline. So don't pressure yourself. Set up a set deadline. This is when I'm going to complete this project, and this is it. Instagram post not a proper project brief. Now, when you are doing Instagram post, okay, you just say go and check that post. Go and check that Instagram. That is not a clear detail. The person should give you that. Okay, see this detail. I want this. If you give me sites that I can be able to emulate to see. Okay, this. When you get those sites together, you do a design. You show your client. They will say, okay, yes, I want this. You must agree. So decide as you go. Don't slow down in wherever a direct invitation to scope. No, decide on what you are doing from the initial. Don't say as you go. This is our clear time. This is what we want to achieve. Now, delivery partner and menu readiness are both unclear. When delivery partner and readiness, the menu and everything, the date of your launch is not available. How you want to deliver it? Maybe you are preparing pepper soup and chicken, or you are doing rice and beans. You don't even know. So what do you want us to put inside that website? So we need to be clear. We need to clarify things before we price. Thank you very much, Omodara. I think I'll be able to digest this.
All right, thank you very much. You are going to do me a favor. While we continue in this, every single question that pops up, please try and notify me so that we can easily treat the questions, and every single comment as well. Please make sure you notify me so that we can easily you can go ahead and read the comments while we continue so that we can be able to wrap up everything. So one thing I will also want everybody to see, getting the explanation from Engineer Babawale, as I call him, having gotten the explanation, I want you to write one question that you feel you must always ask before pricing any project. Take, for example, if a client comes up to you, what is that one defined question that you feel you should ask before telling them, oh, this is the amount I'm going to collect for this particular project? So I want you to go to the chat session and include that. Go to the chat session and include that. Then we now move to why should this food brand choose you, which is talking about your brand and reputation management. Babawale was trying to explain into um, what what are the questions you are supposed to ask, the timeline, and everything. But the first thing I always tell people is the fact that someone come to you sometimes to ask you about a particular project means that they are considering you. However, you might not be the only person they are asking that same question. Take, for example, I want to fix my television. I'm just using that as an example. I want to fix my TV. And then I reach out to, oh, let me use something that happened recently. I think 2 weeks ago, the light within my area just had issues and the thing affected my refrigerator. And the refrigerator just decided to stop freezing. It was a serious situation. When I mean a serious situation, a situation whereby you've gone and my wife has gone ahead, she has bought every necessary food stuff, stocked the house, stocked the freezer, only for the freezer to stop working. And you don't want that money to waste, because it's either you eat everything within the next 3 days or you find a solution to the freezer immediately. And then I started looking for who I'm going to call to fix the refrigerator. So I called. I was asking my friends, called the first person. The first person came over, gave me his budget and everything, but I was not convinced. And then my wife all of a sudden just reached out to a friend of ours. A friend of ours gave us another contact. We called that man, and that man came along with something and then immediately fix the refrigerator. Now, the other person said, oh, I'm going to buy a new, what did they call it now? I've forgotten the name. A new, is it compressor? I'm going to buy a new compressor that the old one is spoiled and all this, that, and that. I'm going to pay so amount. And then the other man just asked us the price for the thing he brought and his charges fee. And in my mind, I was already thinking that, because at the end of the month, I dispersed money quite a lot of time. I was not having enough with me. But in my mind, I was like, this man just came and fixed the problem easily. Fix the problem easily. So, which means that at that particular point in time, if the man also called a particular price, said that the compressor was bad, I would then have to decide which of the two I'm going to go with. So most of the time when someone approaches you and tell you that, oh, I want something from you, there's a probability they are approaching three other person with that same details. Now, why should they choose you and not the other three persons that they are approaching? So why? Which is the aspect of you talking about your brand and reputation management. So instead of you presenting yourself as a digital creator, I do everything, present yourself in a way whereby I help food SME turn Instagram interest into paid orders. Now, you are talking from the perspective of what you want to be able to do for the brand, for what the assignment you want to do for the brand. So instead of reading like a random skill list, I have this, I have this, I have this, let your brand explain customer journey problem and how you solve it for your customer. Oh, this is what I do, and this is how it's going to help solve this particular problem. This is what I do. This is how it's going to help solve this particular problem. One of the things I do for people is I help people with branding. And then one major thing I tell my client is every single person take for example, going on socials, they are not going on socials primarily because they are looking for solution to their problem. They are going on socials primarily because they want to be entertained. Now, however, if they see the problem they are going through it will pique their interest and they will want to see if they can easily solve that problem. So if you are telling me that you are offering this particular thing and it doesn't relate to my problem, I won't take you serious. I will move on. I will move to the next person. If you tell me, oh, I can do this, I can do that, in my mind, what is coming, what I'm asking myself is, what you said you can do, how does it what relate to the problem I'm having? If it doesn't, I move on. So instead of just listing, oh, you are a graphic designer, oh, you are a content writer, oh, you are this. How does you being a content writer, how does it translate in solving my problem? Because you are not the first person to create content. We have thousands of content creators out there. So if you say you are a content creator, how does you being a content creator, how does it translate with what? Solving my problem. I have some other content creators in my office that have been working and is not yet solving my problem. But how will your own content creation, how will it what solve my problem? So until you are able to attach it that, oh, the content creation I'm going to give you is going to increase the reach of your brand from so percent by so percentage, then I will be able to see, okay, my brand has been struggling to increase their reach for quite a while. Let me check him or her out to see if he or she will be able to what increase the what the reach of my brand. So you have to explain the problem. You have to talk about how that particular thing you are doing, how that particular skill you have, how that particular profession of yours solve a particular problem. So it's not all about telling them I have so skills. If they are telling me you are a data scientist, okay, and so what can you do with your data scientist? What can you do with that data science? Being a data analyst, what are you doing? You are a software developer. So what are you doing with the software development? What So it's all about how you can use that particular skills to what to show the solution to the problem. So if I see you showing me how you can be able to solve my problem, it can help me to get convinced that you can do what I want you to do. It's more or less like that man. Immediately that man was coming, that man came with I think it's a fuse or so. That man came with a fuse, checked the refrigerator, and was like, "This is the problem. I will fix it." And immediately he fixed it. The thing was working. You understand? The imam was able to convince me at that moment that, oh, I can solve your problem. This is the problem, and I'm going to solve it. While explaining to him, he already knows what the problem is, and is just coming to solve the problem. So it is very easy for you to convince them to eventually go with you when they see that, oh, this is the problem they are going through, and you are speaking in a way that you can actually what solve the problem. You can actually solve the problem. So your portfolio should always be showing, oh, before these people used me, this was what they were going through. But after they started using me, this is the result. Before this brand was going through, before they were going to me, this was what they were going through. But after they started using me, this is the result. This is what I've done with brand in the past, not just different pictures. So your portfolio should show how you have solved those problems. How you have solved those problems. So I want you to do something quickly. Write a line of positioning statement for your brand. I know we have different skills, different profession. So I want you to write a line of positioning statements. Who do you help? That's the first question. This is how to write a positioning statement. I'm sure when you've gone through the video on your dashboard, and we'll also explain it there, but I would just like to reiterate now. The first question is, who do you help? The second question is, what result do you create? Now, who do you help? And then the solution, what result do you create for the people you are helping? And the third question is, why should they trust you? If you are able to answer these three questions, it is very much easier for you to speak to someone and convince them to use you and not go for the other person. They are also asking the same thing. And one thing I want you to know is this: the moment you are able, take for example the first model that engineer Babale was talking about you creating the document, the scope creep, knowing the timeline and everything. If your client knows that you know your onions, they will patronize you, unlike someone that will just tell them, oh yes, let me start, and someone else is telling them, oh, this is the necessary things I need to ask from you, this is the necessary question you need to answer, and by the time you answer it, I'll be able to determine the timeline of the project, how the project is going to be, how long the project is going to be, what are the necessary payments that has to be done, how many times we can review the project. By the time you explain those things and you ask those questions, they know the difference. They know the difference. So what I want you to go ahead. Who do you help? What result do you create? And why should they trust you? Who do you help? What result do you create? And why should they trust you? Baba Wale, are you still there? Am I getting any
Yes,
response?
yes, yes. I'm there. Uh, I'm saying. One is saying I have company connect to users. Okay, I don't. There's
I help
nothing yet. There's nothing yet.
who do you, that's
Except I have
who do you
company connect
help?
to users. I'm saying that.
That makes sense. So, what result do you create for those companies? Okay, you help companies connect with users. What kind of company? What kind of user? You are not yet specific. Who do you help? We have different type of company. We have the company that are into recruitment. We have the company that are into NGOs. We have companies that are into productions. So, which company are you connecting? What type of company are you connecting with user? Do you understand? You have to be specific. Who exactly do you help? Who exactly do you help? Do I have any response there, Baba Ali?
Not yet. Okay, I help business to increase their reach using social media strategy and digital marketing.
Okay, you help business to increase their reach using social media,
Social media
digital
strategy
marketing.
and digital marketing.
That makes sense. So the last question that you should answer now is, why should they trust you? That's the last question you should answer. Why should other businesses, why should they trust you? You already tell us that you help businesses to increase their reach. Fine. So why should that business trust you? Because I'm also a digital marketer. I also help businesses to increase their reach. So why should they trust you and not trust me? Do you understand? So let's go ahead. Any other response? Any other response? Maybe
All
one
right,
more.
so I see I help company connect to users by making interfaces usable and accessible and easy to use, making users endpoint easy and making them long-term users. I also
Okay.
have air brand, air
Okay.
brands, uh, businesses and creator transforms their raw footages into compelling high impact videos. Two, I create edits that capture attention, increase engagement, and communicate messages. Other one said I help SMEs to get registered with CAC, enabling them for grants and government loans. I think
Thank
I want you to give me grants
you.
here, and
I know.
also helping.
Baba
I
Wale,
think
you
this
need
person is
that.
going to give me grants.
Okay.
I need grants. So
Okay. So
I came to that. So also helping them.
please,
Okay,
what was the name of the person that said that? Can you,
I'm
can you be able
seeing
to
I'm seeing all LA collections. LA collections.
now, in a
No name,
situation
but LA
whereby
collections.
let me just dwell on that person for a while. In a situation whereby two other person is also help me to register my business, but you are telling me that you will help me to get grants. Who do you think I'm going to follow? I will follow you because I must get that grant. Oh, but where the problem will now start is, if you now help me to register my business completely, and I'm now asking you, how do I get grants? And you are now ghosting me. That is where the problem will be. Because when you are making promises, when you are telling your clients that this is what you want to do, you must stand by it and make sure you fulfill your own side of the what of the bargain. And that is where the aspect of contracts comes in place. So if you are telling me, oh, this is what you are going to get, this is what you are going to get, this is what you are going to get, then you tell me that I'm also going to get grants, and we sign an agreement that you are getting grants, you must produce the grant by fire by force. I must get the grants. So we now move to what the third aspect, which is growing with the ecosystem. Growing with the ecosystem. We all know, I think we've discussed it last time, we all know that you cannot do it alone. It is not possible. You cannot do it alone. You need what? You need to collaborate with people. You need to collaborate with people. Now, take for example, let us look the concept we were talking about, that food brand. Let's believe that okay, you can create a no-code setup of what? Of the landing page where they can order from. But you need a photographer to what? To snap all the pictures. To snap a clean pictures, a picture that can be put inside on the website that will make it attractive for what? For customers to see. You need a paid ad specialist. You need someone like me. You need someone like the other person that spoke earlier, who help businesses to what? To get to what? To get to the public. You need someone like him or her, as the case may be. You need someone like that. You need a logistic partner that will help you understand how delivery system, or by the way, partner with them whereby they will be the one to work on the logistic aspect of the business. So all these things we need to learn it from inception. You need to learn it from inception, knowing the fact that you cannot do it alone. You know, my boss was explaining a concept earlier that when they give you food to eat, instead of eating it in your hand, prepare a table. Prepare a table so that you can invite others. However, you should be careful of those you invite, by the way, because some people will take the whole table from you. Now, what he's trying to explain is this: instead of using a stool, prepare a big table so that you can collaborate with others. Now, there was something. Take for example, you are in software engineering. Obviously, if you want to get a job, there is a need for a UI UX. That's a product designer. Sometimes there is a need for a what? A product manager. Aside from being a product designer, there's a need for a product manager. There's also a need for quality assurance, people that will test the particular product to know that if it is good for the what? For the public. Now let's stop at that four. Now you have, we're still graphic designer, by the way, but let's just stop at that four. You now have people you can collaborate with that can be what? A quality assurance person. You have a what? You have a quality assurance person. You have a product designer. You have a product manager. You are collaborating with them. In a situation whereby a client just reached out to you, I need you to build this full website, everything. You can easily call them together and say, oh, let's work on these two things together. How much are you going to collect? This is the scope of the business. How much are you going to collect? And by the time you collect it, you charge the client based on this. This is the amount this particular is going to go into this particular phase of designing, amount that is going to go into managing, amount that is going to go into testing and everything, and you are going to get it within this period of time. That is collaboration. If a UI UX person, a product designer, also sees the project, he or she can be able to invite you to the table. That is why you built a table. Don't just assume, oh, I can do it alone. I can do it alone. There's a saying in Yoruba land, they said, one tree cannot make a forest. If you are a tree, you can never be a forest. You have to collaborate with other trees before you can what? Before you can be a forest. Before you can be a forest. So, company of one mindset, having collaboration with what? Other people. Use your network. Don't say, I make more when I'm alone. No, collaborate. It's not bad if they benefit from you, because if they benefit from you, you also have a tendency of what? Of benefiting from them. By the time they benefit from you, you also have a tendency of benefiting from them. So I will hand over to Babawale to take the next one. Over to you, Engineer Babawale.
All right, thank you very much, Oluwaseun. To retrace from what you said, collaboration. And collaboration also is going into where you protect your work before launch date. It's based on what you said. That collaboration is entails there. In what sense? When you have your service level, service agreement, as my friend said, service level agreement is very, very important. SLA. Now, the issue of the project manager coming in, the design guy coming in, the pro manager coming, the pro design coming in, the business worker coming in, everything has to be inculcated, into the SLA, right? So, it's your SLA must have your deliverables and your clear execution. Now, there's something I always tell, right? I always tell people, when you are doing a particular project, when you are doing SLA, what you can take, don't put it, state it there rather. You know, I am giving you this project, 1 week that I bring my material, I'm starting my work. I'm taking 2 weeks to do the project, making it 3 weeks. So if you pay me today, you expect me that in next 1 week I must bring that project, the materials. Everything has to be, in your SLA. What you are delivering, your clear execution, everything must be intact. Now we have milestone, deposit, and final payment. What are we going to achieve? What is the milestone? When you are breaking them into pieces. Now, number one is the deposit. How much are you paying? I'm paying 10,000 naira. The project is 50,000. I'm paying 40,000 naira. Remaining a balance of 10,000. It has to be stated, right? Now, client approval and response time automata, because your client must approve everything that the SLA, they must be signed by the client and other things, so that it's a binding document. It becomes a legal document. And the response time is such a way that when there's an issue, for example, you came to do like an installation for me, and I'm saying that I have an issue with my installation, right? What is the response time you call? If I call you, what's your response time? Let it also be included in your service agreement, so that you won't say, after this time, oh, this must be client, and must be agreed upon. Revision and change request processes in terms of revising on the job and say, okay, if you want to change this after 3 attempts of revision, you are paying some amount of money, or you are changing some patterns after we've agreed on this. The cost, the variation, it must be there. You have to pay for it. It must be agreed on. Now, cancellation or launch delay terms, it must be there. Okay, after this thing, if this thing is not done, we will cancel your project. Or on this date, you are going to launch this project, this and this is what we're going to do. There must be clear dates. As you said, it must be a time frame. It must be explicit. It must be shown. Now we have the access, data, and intellectual property clause. This is also very, very important, because now one thing that we make mistakes today is to use clients' details. And trust me, with the Nigerian Cyber Crime Act now, right? If you misuse any of the client details, right, you are liable to 7 years imprisonment. It is clear. So you must be so sure about what you want to do, right? So use temporary, admin credentials only. As a cybersecurity professional, you should know that when you are having, a testing environment, you are testing. Don't use the permanent credentials. Use the temporary, because that temporary user, you give people to test and other things. So it was temporary, so that you have, the people will have little access, into your. So after they deliver the project, you can now change, to your own credentials. Now, customer data handle this consent. In fact, this is most important. We have the NDPR law, we have the GDPR law, we have the IPA law, we have the PCI DSS law. These are laws that guide, our various, data, customer data. So it must be, before you can put my data outside there, you must request my consent. Because if you don't request for consent, it can come to breach of agreement, and that can lead to litigation, and you will pay dearly for it as an organization. So campaign asset transfer after full payment. Now, in terms of your materials that you use, your flyers, your billboard, your other things that you use in doing your campaign, or you are saying that okay, after the project, right? After the project, I am handling this to you. For example, you are a client, you are giving me a project to do. At a particular time, I'm saying that okay, if you've not paid me my money, complete money, I am not handling the entire project to you. You know, all those things have to be stated. They must be created because sometimes they will take you as mugu. I've done a project before that, the person paid me 50% and I delivered the project. In fact, I gave the person the full access, not even temporary access, full admin access. The person just entered and just changed the ending, and that's all. Till today, he has not paid me 50%. So you need to understand all these things, right? Now, define who can reuse launch materials. For example, let's assume that I'm an organization, right? I add my own WordPress or this thing to create that website. At that particular point, that website, that website is for you as a client, right? But the web page itself, right? The page itself that I use in creating that particular application or software is for the organization. So you cannot say you are the owner of it. I'm using my platform to do what? To help to create a website. So you cannot claim it except we have an agreement that okay, you want to even purchase the entire. So I can still reuse that particular thing for another client. But except we agree that oh, this is what we need to do. I'm buying it completely, and that's all. Like this earmarks, this electronic medical records are something, they have it, they sell it all around. But if you want to, to customize it to your own, there's another agreement for that, and you get an agreement. Now, let's see this risk checklist. This is also very, very important. Payment risk. I'll give you an example. Now, let it be clearly stated. Before you launch your program, you are paying me 60%. After I deliver, you pay me 40%. It's an agreement. Don't say, don't get it be clear and let it be in your SLA. Now, launch delay. Now, when you don't have a written, date sign off, it becomes a problem. So there must be a date to start. There must be a date you must submit. Now, as I'm submitting this project, even though if you want to change the date, right? There must be a consolidation between the client and also the professional that is working. So vendor risk, test order before launch day is very, very important. In development, so development we call something testing phase. You must test because if you don't test and there's an issue after launch, it becomes a problem. Maybe payment issue, maybe delivery issue, all those things. It becomes a problem. So you must test. And when you are testing, you allow them to be aware about it. Let test with the stakeholders. Let them be aware about it. Now privacy risk. You must limit dashboard permission. It's very, very important. In fact, this is what we call, we have the role-based access control, we have the mandate access control, we have the what we call the principle of least privilege. These are the controls that you put in place. The same bank app that you have, right? As a banker, if you give me cash, I can pay it to your account. But the same app that you have, as a client, right? When you have that bank app, you cannot have cash and pay into the account with the app. We have clear, distinct, functions and permissions. So it must be there. The person that's going to be in account must not access other things. So this and what we need to put in place. Thank you very much. I'll watch over to you.
All right.
I think should you answer the question after or should I answer it now?
Yeah. No,
I have the question now.
Let me even go ahead and talk about one of the questions that is here. Someone said
All right.
something related to how do we handle a client who doesn't even know what they want. And the truth of the matter is, we have that kind of client almost every time. Client that do not know what they want. Let me take you back to, I think, was it 3 years ago or 2 years ago? A client of mine reached out to me. As a matter of fact, that is not even what I major in. I don't build websites, but if you bring it, I can help you to do it. But that's not my major. So the client came to me and was like, "Oh, I want to build mobile application. This is the solution. This is the solution. This is the solution, and everything." And I was sure the client does not know what she wanted. So in my mind, I was like, okay, you know what? This is what you want, right? So I started by what? Asking the right questions. So I had to, okay, let's have a call. We came on the call, and I started asking the right questions. Do you know the reason why you need to ask the right questions? To know exactly what the client wants. Because even when they don't know what they want, there is always an inherent desire of how they want that thing to be done, despite the fact that they have no idea of what you want to do. They don't have an idea, but there is this thing that they want to do. There is always something inside their mind that they want to achieve. So when you now understand what they want to achieve, you will now use that to explain, okay, this is what you want to achieve, this is what you are expecting. Then you go back and start explaining what you want to achieve. We take through all these processes, and we take through all these things, and it's going to take this so period, and it's going to cost so. And this is what you are going to get in return from that. So I think what majorly happen most of the time is when a client who doesn't know what is he or she is asking for come to us. Most of us are always like, this like this client is a mugu. I will just charge the client, just pay, do one thing for the client, and just give it to the client, and the client will go. But the truth of the matter is, most of the time they will not come back to us, because they will end up taking that particular thing to someone else, and that person will now sit them down to ask the proper questions. And by the time the person now asks proper questions, ask the necessary things, ask everything, they will now explain to the client what is expected to be done. And by the time they explain to the client and the deliverables at every interval, the client now see the way it's supposed to be done. They are able to touch the art, know the art of the client. So as a freelancer, as a professional, you should be able to ask the right questions to know what is in the heart of your client. After having that call with that woman, and I was already telling her the people I'm going to bring on board, bring a product manager on board, bring a software developer on board, and everything. I was already telling her we are trying to draft the contract and everything. But after a conversation, I just asked a single question. And after asking that question, realized that that project, we are not going to build it. And immediately she was so happy. She was like, I would have wasted money like this. So, thank you very much. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And that was the end of it. That was the end. So sometimes you have to ask the right questions. It's going to help you to what? To be able to know what the client actually wants. Let me tell you, yes, they might not know how to express themselves because they don't know the technical jargon, they don't really understand the tech aspect of it or all those stuff. But there is something they want to achieve. So it is now you that will have to come to their level, come to that base level that they to their level of understanding to be able to get what they achieve. Then you now show them, is this what you want to achieve? This is how you are going to achieve it. This is the pathway. Because at the end of the day, if you build something, if it is not what they want, despite the fact that they do not want, that they did not know what they want, if it's not what they want, they will still blame you that, they paid someone so amount and the person did not deliver the expected job. And I think there's one other questions that relate to that, talking about what separating average, how do we separate an average creative from an exceptional ones? My boss always says something. He said, the truth of the matter is preparation and being excellent with your job. That's what separates an exceptional person from an average one. Now, when some of us are already tired, when some of us are already I've done the best, some will go extra mile, some will want to create something exceptional for the client because they want to be the best out there. They are burning the extra candle, they are learning the extra skills, they are going out of their ways to learn something new because they want to deliver the best for their clients. So the only difference is willingness to be excellent. That's it. willingness, that consciousness that, oh, I need to go extra mile, I need to do more for my clients, I need to learn more. Oh, this, not agreeing with the barest minimum. When you are not agreeing with, oh, this is okay, this is just okay for the client, this is fine, this will be fine, the client will collect it. No, you are not agreeing with the barest minimum. You are going for excellence, delivering the best for your clients. When you are at that level, then you know you are not an average creative. You are up there with every single person. Now, the difference between us and between some average and those that are up there is just their resilience to always do more, to be excellent. Yeah, Babawale, you can go to your
All right,
question now
sorry,
before I
Oluwachun, sorry.
explain.
Let me just answer your to speak more to your question with my own experience. Right. I did a project some years back, and that project was to do an infrastructure, a network infrastructure for a particular organization. I did. I got some materials. Now, one of the materials I got, right, I wanted to create a firewall. Now, that material that I got, that firewall, right, when I was doing installation was fine, but there were loopholes. I never knew. So, in IT, because something by a gigabit, megabytes, and base by 10, I had three slots, in network adapter. So I had by 100, that's MB, and I had by 10. And my installation that I'm doing is by gigabit. So it means that if gigabit is coming to my system, what should be going out will be by 100. So that means that 990 Mbps is gone like that. So when I went there, I was like, okay, so what I'm saying is that, in essence, that when you do a particular project, what makes you excellent is when you do a project, go back often to go and ask, how far, boss? How is the solution? How is fine. Now, the day I was doing my checkup, they said they have a slow internet, they have a slow network. Okay, I'm coming there to come and check. The moment I got there, my brother, I knew that there was already a problem, right? I went to look for a solution to the problem. That solution did not solve that problem until I paid money to change that device itself. Now, sometimes, right, when you do a project, you might not say, okay, I'm going to see, money there, profit there. Sometimes when you do a project that is excellent, it fetches much more than what you have spent or than what you have gotten in the initial. So when you do a excellent job, right, it paves ways for others because they will not tell you that you are doing something that is inferior. They will tell you that I want someone who can do this with excellence. And trust me, your client will call you that because he knows that you can deliver with excellence. Secondly, I have a question: what happens when you get 40% as now agreed? What if the delivery paid, pay? Please, if you have your SLA, it is a legal, a document. It is binding. Go to court. You can go and report the case. Trust me, because you have that document and both of you signed on that document, trust me, it is a legal. In fact, you can go for litigation. In fact, that person can even pay for damage more than what he has signed. That's all about that. Over to you, Shehu.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think every single one of us will be a victim of that. And that was why if any other clients come to me today, I tell them, I'm sorry, I love you, but you have to pay so percentage upfront. There is no there is no negotiation. If you are not paying, there's no contract. Do you understand? So as long as you have that agreement and you have a document, like Babawale said, you will get your money. As a matter of fact, if they did not pay, they are making you richer. Do you understand? If they did not pay, they are making more money for you. Because by the time you take them to the courts, and there's enough evidence that you've delivered their work to them and they did not pay, you will get cool money. So we move to the fifth module, which talks about um, innovation and market positioning. It's kind of still a bit related to module 5, but it's talking more on market positioning, where you position your products. That is, I help food. Take for example, instead of using I build a website that run adverts, you are now specifically telling them that I help food brand launch a simpler order to delivery system that turns Instagram attention into paid users. So you are not just saying the solution, you are also saying why they should select you. And one thing about market positioning and innovation is this: you have to learn to have the MVP, which is the minimum viable product. That is, at every stage, build a one-page ordering first. That's the minimum viable product. Start with that one page first. You test it. You test with your friend, test with everybody. It's more or less like saying, okay, this is what I want to deliver. However, let me first create something that I want to use and test to see if that thing is going to work fully well. And by the time it works fully well, you can now scale up. You can then make it more beautiful. You can then expand. But at first, you have to what? You have to test. You have to test. You have to test. At first, you have to test. So you track abandoned orders. See, this is now depending on the project we've been talking about, which is the food. If it delivers, add a pickup option. If not, you know that what you are still working on is what is delivery. So after working on delivery, the next thing is pickup option. After working on pickup option, the next thing is tracking of what? Tracking of delivery system. So you have to be able to build the system bit by bit, whereby you know that, okay, this is what you've achieved first. Oh, the next thing you want to achieve is this. Once you've achieved that, you test. If you see that you've achieved that, you build the next one. Once you achieve that, is test. And this is for all kind of project, not just people that are building landing page. Let me use digital marketing for example. Digital marketing, for example, they ask you to run an advert. They want to publish. They want to get so number of sales. You don't just say, "Oh, let me run the advert. Just give me their budget." No, you also have to set up a particular campaign. We call it A and B testing. You set up the first campaign. You set up the second campaign. You test. You see the one that is going to perform better. If one performs better but still not up to the extent you are expecting, you still take the one that performs better, you test it against another until you are sure of, oh, which one is performing better, before you then run the total budget with what with we don't run advert with the total budget. So there has to be different level. Do you understand? So if one fails, you know that you have to fix that one first before going ahead. As a matter of fact, I tell people, before running advert, first test that particular post, see if that post will do well. If that post do well, you know that, oh, this post is doing well normally, so it's going to do well when you run advert. So you run advert with it. So that's another level. You can use that as as your MVP, which is posting. And after posting, you see that it's doing well. Then you now you now do A and B testing. Another, after doing A and B testing, you now you now use the total budget to run advert. So on every project, there must be an MVP, where you are starting from what you are first, to know if you are on the right on the right channel. You are testing before then going all out to the final one, and then, okay, let Babawale take this. Let Babawale
All
take
right, all right.
this.
So I'll use this. I'll use this to answer Emmanuel's question that asked me about pricing and some other things. Right now, there are two tests here. You know, one thing I love to do is you say something, let your client be aware. Now, do you know that if you are doing any solution, for example, I'll use a solar inverter solution as an example, right? There are two phases. There's one that clearly says that during rainy season, this is the solution. It means that during rainy season, you'll be getting 85% optimal of your power, right? There's no sun. You'll be getting 85%. Now, there's another one that during dry season, right, you'll be getting 85%. Now, trust me, when there's rain, you won't get 85% during the of your efficiency during the rainy season. So I always tell them, come, I have two solutions. This one is during rainy season. It means that during rainy season, if you have 85% optimal, of the optimal light, during dry season, you'll be getting 95%. But if you agree to say, okay, I am going because of money, I'm going for the 85%. It means that during rainy season, don't come and meet me that you don't have light. So must have been clearly stated from initial. I get my point. So you must have two scenarios. Now, see the scenario now. A client asks you to copy a competitor's a many photo review just to launch app. You know, you dare not do that because of what you are invading another person's privacy. It can cause copyright. In fact, now they will sue for cybercrime. For cyber bully and other things. You are getting a lot of things. Public backlash and other things. This can damage your credibility. Now, the scenario two is the client the client is asking you to keep customers' phone number and use them for your own for your promotion. You deny it. You can't do that. It can cause litigation. In fact, it can crumble your organization. So, in terms of this, that there must be a clear thing, right? And someone asked me in terms of how do you cost do your costing. Trust me, if you are doing your costing, be very careful. Now, if the cost of your material is 10 naira, before you give your clients that 10 naira, you must do 0.25 or 0.30. You multiply it, then the addition is what you add to it. Because the client, now, when the client will not expect you not to, you are getting something 10 naira in the market, we expect you to give he or she 10 naira. It's not possible. So ideally, add between, depending on the material, add between 0.25 or 0.30. You multiply it with this and add it up, sum it up and give to your client. That is how to do, that's how to do prudent, costing. Now, when you are costing, you go to the market, you check your price variation, you choose the one. Now, remember, you must have your quality. Don't go because you are of money, you're not going to buy inferior things. No, get a customer vendors that you know that they sell quality, meet them, get the price and do your markup by putting 0.25 or 0.30. Over to you, Lashim.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. So now, in the next few minutes, I just want you to answer one of these few questions. Answer one of these few questions. Now, is either you in the comment section write 3 discovery questions you feel you are going to ask before pricing your project. What are the 3 discovery questions you feel you can ask before discovering your project? Or you go ahead to write what? Rewrite your positioning statement, that is one specific niche and the result. You remember I said, who are you offering it to? What problem are you solving, and why should they choose you? That should be in your positioning statement. And then partnership. List, you tell, if you are going with this partnership, you tell me what are you doing? That is, what is your job, and then who are your partners? What is your job and who are your partners? Who are you partnering with? Who are you collaborating with? And then the last one is name 2 risks that could break launch day. 2 risks, that is, what are the things that can be a risk that can make you extend the launch date if you are given this kind of project. So I want you to go ahead and write something in the chat session or in the comment section, as the case may be. Babale, do I have any response? Yes. Engineer Babale.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I believe they are typing it. So you don't need to write everything. Just one of it is just a way for me to know that you've been following. We've answered some questions. If you still have questions, you can still ask. It's just a way for me to know that you are following. Please make sure that you type something. Any of the 4 questions, just make sure that you put something down. I'm waiting for a response. Barley, once you just have response, please just read it out. Once you have any response, please read it out. Any of the 4 questions.
So I'm saying, as a graphic designer who is trying to enter the gig economy, how do one charge? Okay, he's saying charging the client. So that's a question. Okay, as a graphic designer who is trying to enter the gig economy, how do one charge a client?
All right. Now, I'm going to talk from the lens of a product marketer here to explain pricing. Pricing, we have what we call different pricing model. We have what we call cost-based pricing. That is, how much are you going to spend to produce that particular thing, and then you put your interest on it. You just mark a particular price, you add it on it as your interest. Take for example, if your graphic design cost, if your graphic design costs you, you have your data, the software you are using, and all those stuff. Let's say it costs you 10,000 naira. I'm not suggesting any price for you. I'm assuming. I don't know what design entails, but I'm assuming. So I'm not suggesting any cost for you, so that you won't say your facilitator say 20,000 naira. You now put it 20,000 naira. I'm just assuming. So if the cost of everything costs 10,000, you can now look at it based on the stress, based on the time you spent in creating that same particular document. You can say, okay, how much does it cost me to? How long does it cost me to create these graphics and all those stuff? You can now say, let's say another 10,000 naira, and you mark it that, oh, the starting price for your graphic design is 20,000 naira. So for someone that now want to create a full design kit that involves logo, that involves design for the merch, design for every other thing, you already know how long it's going to cost you, how long that is going to do and everything. You can easily then mark the price of that based on the resources, the data, like data, software, and all you are paying. Maybe you are using Canva. I'm assuming if someone of you are using Canva, you are paying for Canva, all those stuff, you add it to your price. And when I mean add it, I'm not saying that you now add the price of Canva for one design. No, if you are using the price of Canva for a month, I don't know how much it is now, but I know there was a time it was 10,000 naira or so. Let's say it's 10,000 naira or so. You now, and you know that within a month you'll be able to produce like 10 designs. That means you have 1,000 naira on each of it. So you have 1,000 naira on that particular amount. You put the amount of data, you put and this. So by the time you have the cost price, you now put amount of your interest on it. That is cost-based pricing. We have competitor-based pricing. Competitor-based pricing is simply by looking at other person that is doing the same thing you are doing. Ask them, how much are you pricing this thing? Sometimes you might have friends that are also doing the same thing. You might have people that you are looking up to. If they do these things, how much are they charging for it? You know the amount they are charging. You get the ideology of why they are charging it, and then by the time you want to also charge your client, you can easily use that as a template. Another thing you can also use is what we call value-based pricing. Now, you can't compare someone who is starting up with someone who almost everybody know. Take for example, you can compare amounts Davido. Let me use all these worldly songs. Amount Davido will collect for a concert with the amount a young star just rising is going to collect for that same concert. What they are paying for is not Davido as is the value they are going to get. You know that if they add Davido to that poster, they have more people that are going to come. Do you understand? So it is that value that will make Davido charge more than someone who is not known. Do you understand? So value-based pricing, you are charging based on the value. Do you understand? So if a client comes to you and you know the value of the product you want, of that design you want to give to them, you can be able to say, oh, this design is going to take this, is going to take this, this is the amount I'm charging, and then it's you that will now place the cost based on the value of the product. A typical example, let me explain in another way. I went through a kind of training some time ago, and the explanation the person made is this. Take for example, you want to meet a CEO and you are solving a problem for them. That problem, you now go to them that, okay, take for example, how long do you spend in doing this particular task? You're asking a CEO, how long do you spend in creating a graphic design? And the CEO tells you, I create a graphic design with 30 minutes. If you find someone that can solve that problem, I'm okay, 30 minutes. How much is your 30 minutes? Like, what is your 30 minutes cost? They will now tell you 30 minutes cost maybe $10 or $20 to them. Do you understand? And then if you now create that value for them at a faster period, maybe like 5 minutes instead of 30 minutes, how much would they be willing to pay? So they are paying based on the value you are giving to them, not like based on the graphics. No, they are paying based on the value. So value-based pricing is always based on the value you are giving to them. That is what you are using to charge them. When you like, this thing based on the value, it is this. And then it is either they accept it or they don't. So those are the different ways you can price. There's no rigid way that, oh, you have to price this way, you have to price this way. Sometimes use your cost-based pricing, though every single one of it have the advantages, every single one of it have the disadvantages. You just have to. And then there are some pricing. Okay, these for softwares and all those stuff whereby you do those are prices that are not rigid. You can say, oh, 10% off, 20% off during a particular period, just to make them your clients. And after making them your clients, it go back to the original price. So those are also a pricing model and everything. I hope we are together. Yeah. I hope I've answered that question. Any other response? Any other thing
Yes,
regarding?
I'm seeing what are your goals for the project? What results are you hoping to achieve? Maybe that's one
Okay.
of those things you have
That's
said.
three questions. Yeah, yeah. Any other one?
I'm seeing F Fashion, that's mode two. F Fashion brand creates cinematic video content and capture attention, build brands and drive customer engagement. That's
Thank
another
you.
one.
Yeah.
I'm seeing another one that is saying mode four, technical failure, have backup and technical support contacts ready to fix
Yes.
issue immediately. Missing or delayed content, create a detailed project timeline with deadlines.
Thank you very much for that. All right. So
So there's
I
one
think
thing here. How do we go about clients who want perfection but do not want to provide? I've explained this. Now, if client want perfection and did not want, you let them know. Let it be in clear terms. You want perfection, but you don't want to provide money. So will I come and fabricate money? No. You make sure that, see, you let them know. You know, this is the cost of this. This, and I'll ask you, what do you want? As Shem said, you must have a conversation with your client. What do you want? What do you want to achieve? You know, I want A, B, C. Okay, this is the cost of A, B, C, but I don't have A, B, C. Okay, let us, can we do A, B? You will check if A, B is going to make your work to be, to be authentic and not look inferior. Then you now say, okay, this is the cost of A, B. And depending on if person, I don't want AB, then there's some job you neglect. There's a day that a client told me that I go and check a particular bank interface. I got there, I gave that person call. You're saying that, can we try to? I said I cannot amend. Either you pay this or you go. I cannot do inferior. This is it. So job back. If you no agree, you no agree, and let everybody have his our own way. Because if you go and agree on what is not good, it's going to come back to you later on, and your work won't go there.
all right. So thank you very much. I just want to run through the last phases of slides so that we can be wrapping up very
I think
soon
there's
on
a
other.
question here. What habits separate average creative?
Okay, hold on. We'll go through the questions together, but let me quickly wrap up here so that we'll go through the questions together. So this is more or less like a complete guide for the professional launch cycle. What are the things you have to put in your mind? Number one is discovery. Discovery is when you clarify the goal, you know what the client wants. This is where you ask those questions to know what the client wants. And then the offer, you package your value, you give them the offer. This is the solution I'm giving you based on their problem. Remember, you also have to know that you are building a table, those that you are collaborating with, and then you have your agreements which will help you to control all every necessary agreement involved. The IP, that is the intellectual property, every agreement and risk, everything written down, and then your MVP and data, that is the step by step where you will be launching it. The first step, what you are producing in the first step, what you are producing in the second step, what you are producing in the third step, and then we now go to the final, which talks about what ethics and referrals. This is your behavior, how to execute some of these things, how to make sure that your customer keep coming back to. I'm not going to go to the question. So the system that separate professional from freelancers, all those freelancers, what are the systems that separate professionals from them? Number one, they diagnose before pricing. You don't just say, oh, this is the amount I collect. When someone asks me that, how much do you want? I don't, how much are you collecting for this? I don't tell them. I ask questions first. After as a matter of fact, if you want me to take, for example, you want me to launch a campaign for you, maybe run an advert for you, I will not tell you price until I get to that platform to see what you've been doing. Because if I tell you price and then by the time I get there, I see that you've been doing rubbish all this while, which is not going to make my my work do well. That means I have extra work to do. I'm not going to tell you the price. So you have to diagnose before pricing. Sell outcome, not task. This is what you are going to achieve. Don't tell them I'm going to run adverts. No, this is what you are going to get. This is what you are going to get. This is what you are going to get. So they borrow capacity from network. There are some things you can do. Borrow capacity from your friends, from your network and everything. And then they secure payment, access, and intellectual property. They make sure their payment is secure. They make sure that their access is secure. Make sure their intellectual property is secure. They know that the client does not have access to this thing unless the client pay full money. This is on the side note. Do you know, as a photographer, as an individual, the intellectual property of your wedding photo is owned by the photographer, not you. The photographer owns the picture. There is a certain amount you need to pay before they can hand over and say they are not the owner of the picture. So they own the picture. Your photographer that snap you is you the snap, but they are the owner of the picture. So all these things need to be known. They launch small and learn fast. You don't go all the way. You take it bit by bit. Let there be a minimum viable product, and they protect trust at all costs. Why do you protect trust? Because you want to be able to deliver to them over and over again. It's better you say no than for you to say, okay, I trust them. No, it's better you say no now and protect yourself and your customer. They will probably come back than you now going ahead with them and you fumble. If you fumble, you are going to lose them for life. You are going to lose them for life. Well, all right. I think that will be from my end. Let's go to the question session. Let me stop sharing the screen.
I think we've answered almost all the questions. We've answered it with little. Okay, I think there is one. Okay, this one. I think we've answered it, but can still check
I
on it.
think I've answered this. What separates an average? Yeah. How do we handle who actually don't know what they want, especially the ones with very limited knowledge of text?
I think I've explained it also.
I've also answered that. What if after you deliver, you were not paid the rest? Babali already answered it. You can sue
Sue them to court. Sue
them.
them to
You
court.
already you can sue them. Okay.
But that is
And
when you have signed document to an agreement signed.
not mouth document. Not mouth document. Not let's
No.
start. Don't worry, let's start. We trust one another. Who is entering the gig economy? How do you charge a client? I think I explained that as well using the
Answer that. You answer that. Yes.
pricing model. I answered that using pricing model. So you can still ask maybe one more questions if there is any other questions. If none, I think we are going to hand over back to the team. If there's no more question, probably hand over back to the team. Thank you very much for having us. It has been an interesting time, sir. We
Thank
can't
you.
hear. Okay, your
Thank you
voice is
very
coming.
much. Thank you, Omadawa. Thank you, Babawale. We really, really appreciate you. It's been an insightful and detailed session for all participants. Even myself, I find myself jotting down a lot of stuff. So thank you very much. Can we please show our appreciation to the facilitators, Babawale and Mr. Omadawa? Can we show our appreciation to them for a wonderful and insightful session, please? Let me see your favorite emoji to show appreciation to our facilitators. Thank you, SARS. Thank you, SARS. We really appreciate you. We are grateful. Thank you, sir, for that session. Okay, so our time is up. Please fill up your attendance. The attendance is already in your DM. Please fill up your attendance. It's very important. And before we call it a day, I have about 2 questions that I'm going to just respond to before we call it. But please fill up your attendance, is very important. Or someone say my voucher is inactive and my growth pathway is at 99, is at 90%. Please, all eligible participants will receive an email. So if your voucher is inactive, please wait for an email from us and you are going to see an email that your voucher is active. Someone also says that good afternoon. Please, I'm on the growth pathway. I'm done with general gig work, but I can't continue. Please, for you to be able to continue to the next module, your general gig work must read 100%. So check all the task and activity and make sure everything has been ticked at 100%. Once everything has been clicked as done, you've done your introduction and all has been ticked as done, then you will see your next module will pop up on your screen. Please, you must reach 100%. For voucher, not everyone is eligible for voucher. But if you are eligible, based on the information you feed during registration, you are going to receive an email from us with the subject line, vouchers are live. Thank you very much. Emmanuel John say, my first stipend is not yet approved. Please, why? Now, stipend requests are processed and reviewed. Please just wait for a few more days and you are going to receive an email from us. If you have more questions, please note that we are available for you. Send an email. Any questions that you have, technical questions, LMS related questions, your learning questions, any form of question, please send an email to training@gateway.cchub.africa, and under 24 to 48 hours, someone is going to respond to all your emails. So please get training@gateway.cchub.africa. Please drop all your questions, and under 24 to 48 hours, someone will respond to you with a perfect answer to address all your issues. So thank you very much for joining us for today's session. Please, we appreciate you. Your attendance sheet, please ensure you fill your attendance form and we are going to respond to them. For all learning related issues, training@gateway.cchub.africa. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, for testimonial, we have some testimonial for participants who have completed the growth pathway. So this is from Zachariah. Zachariah is saying that before this course, I mostly thought about freelancing as just getting gigs and delivering work. That is for business management course. My mindset has now shifted more strategically about positioning, agreement, and long-term client relationship. In terms of skill, I've improved my understanding of key professional tools like service agreement, NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and how to define scope creep. The most impactful part of the course for me was learning about scope definition and risk management. That section changed how I approach every project because it made me realize that professionalism is not just about doing good work, but about protecting my time, my income, and my reputation. Overall, I now see myself as a professional service provider rather than just someone doing random freelance tasks. That is from Zachariah. She dropped the comment on the business management course module under the feedback section. So if you are done, please drop your feedback. And also from Abdul Basid, he dropped this comment and said, this course has improved my confidence in presenting myself as a professional UI UX designer and not just a learner. Through the portfolio, task, and capstone, I learned how to structure workflow, how to communicate value to clients, and how to build a professional brand. Creating portfolio in Figma and completing real-world business exercises helped me develop a more practical and growth-focused mindset. That is from Abdul Parsi. So thank you very much for your testimonial. And lastly, from Daniel, looking back on this course, the biggest shift for me has been moving from a generalist hustle to a company of one mindset. Instead of operating with the vague, I can do everything approach, I now have the confidence to treat my data marketing skill as a structured business. Designing a clear singular positioning statement completely eliminated the anxiety of wondering where the next client would come from. I transitioned from just delivering creative work to building repeatable execution workflow, specifically learning how to structure formal service agreements to eliminate scope creep. That's from Daniel. These feedbacks were gotten from the feedback session of the business management module. So we want to appreciate everyone for your feedback. So please, this has been an encouragement for you. Get back to the LMS, take your training, and we are going to meet you at the other end with supporting you to onboard you on Gig platform. Thank you very much. See you in August edition of the Scale Up and Life Expert session for the business management module. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.
I've been stuck on the sidelines watching life. Same routine, just getting by. Skills on top, kicks passing by. Too much grind, not enough pay. I know there's more and I won't pretend. This is where the change begins. No more waiting, no more doubt. Right now's the time, I'm breaking out. No distractions, no excuses now. I'm locked in, I made a vow. From learning hands to earning plans, I rise, I build, I understand. The gate is open, I'm walking in. Through the gateway I begin. From learning to earning, I'm on my way. Turning my skills into gigs every day. We rise together, we won't break. Every move is mine to make. The gate is open, I'm stepping through. A better life in everything I do. New skills, new mind, new frame. I'm not the same, I've changed the game. From ideas to real results, turning my skills into paying gigs. I see the vision crystal clear. Opportunity is here. What I build is what I own. I plant the seed, I fully grow. No more doubt, I know my worth. I'm creating value on this earth. Step by step, I claim my space. Growth is now my daily pace. The gate is open, I'm walking in. Oh, through the gateway I begin. From learning to earning, on my way. Turning my skills into gigs every day. We rise together, we will break. Every move is mine to make. The gate is open, I'm stepping through. A dignified life, I'm coming through. This is my moment, this is my call. I stand up strong, I won't fall.